What's up, everybody? Welcome to Off Topic. Kadeem, how are you doing, man?
Doing great. Happy to be back. How about you?
I'm doing really well. Excited with some of the feedback we got after our rebranding. With our more focused take on the audio version, I think is really going well. At one point last week, we were ranked in the top 150 podcasts for fiction, so that was really cool.
That's outstanding.
So again, appreciate everybody who listened. Thank you for the reviews. Thank you for all that stuff.
For fiction?
Sorry, non-fiction.
We're bringing people the truth.
Yeah,
We're
whatever.
bringing people the truth.
You know what I mean, though. But
true.
Thank you to everybody. Please keep reviewing, keep liking, keep sharing, keep doing all that good stuff. Obviously, the reviews and everything really help us as a podcast. Kadeem, let's get right into it this week. It is spooky season. We're getting close to that time of year. I want to start off the podcast with a question for you. Who is your favorite serial killer monster from the spooky genre?
Okay, it's gonna sound lame, but it's the original. It's Michael.
Okay.
And the reason why is 100% because of his doctor, whose name escapes me.
Dr. Loomis.
Yeah, Dr. Loomis. When Dr. Loomis said, he actually considered that Michael wasn't human and was just a personification of evil, I just thought that was really cool and just a completely badass way to describe somebody.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Michael Myers. I usually do like a little bit of a Halloween marathon during that week at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I usually stop at there's one really bad one that I just don't watch.
H2O?
No. I watch H2O. You cannot tell me that there's a better fight scene in a movie than, this is when Buster Rhymes throws the best spin kick of all time. And the quote is, "Trick or treat, motherfucker." And that's just the coldest line ever. And I love it. So no, I definitely watch that one. I don't know. It's one, Michael Myers isn't even really in the movie. It's one of the early ones. It's like 4 or 3 or 4. It's Witch's Tale. It's like Halloween, Witch's Trial.
Like his niece or something like that?
It's so bad. It's such a bad movie.
Yeah.
But I think Michael Myers is the right pick. I just didn't know if maybe you were going to go maybe Jason because you kind of like the brutes.
So I'm a big fan of Jason. The thing is, when you talk about bad movies,
yeah,
some of those are, but I will say, if you're talking about a really good bad movie, Jason X when he's in space is ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
They finally kill him, and then the microbots just turn him into a Power Ranger. He kills that whole ship. Jason X that is a terrible good movie.
Which did you have bigger problem with? Him getting regenerated into a super Jason or him surviving re-entering Earth's atmosphere?
Well, at the point that he's super Jason, surviving Earth's atmosphere, it's probably fine.
He used the guy as a shield. If you guys have seen Jason X, you know exactly what we're talking about. The level of ridiculousness is just through the roof. I love it. It's awesomely bad.
There's a part where he grabs a woman's head and dunks it into liquid nitrogen.
Oh, God.
It's just, they didn't care with that movie, and it was great.
You know what I thought was one of his best kills and one of the, just most impossible things? If you've ever tried to do it yourself, just to, prove how strong he is, if you didn't already know. In Freddy vs. Jason, there's a girl or a guy on a bed, and he stabs through them, and the mattress folds in half.
Yep.
The level of strength that it takes to even, lift the side of a mattress is actually, it's a lot harder than you think. But to fold it perfectly in half,
yeah,
otherworldly strength. So, just shout out to Jason. Kadeem, let's get into what everybody's here for. We're back again with some more conspiracy theories. I've got 3 of them for you today.
Okay.
Again, guys, if you have conspiracy theories you want us to talk about on the show, please send them into our email at kgds35@gmail.com. We would love to have those. We'll obviously put that in the show notes too. Kadeem, my first theory for you today.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna tell you what the theory is. I'm gonna explain a little bit of information behind it, and then obviously you'll give your thoughts.
All right.
So, number one, giants built the pyramids in Egypt. Now, this is a slightly newer theory. The giants actually back then went by the term Nephilim, aka giants. This was around 45,000 years ago. It was in Egypt. And because of the massive weight of the stones, people have started to think, oh, maybe it was a larger creature that helped do this. The giants were roughly listed around 3 to 4 meters tall.
Jesus,
so I mean they're like Titans in Attack on Titan. To further support this theory, though, we have found giant remains throughout the world. Now these would be descendants of those giants, so think about that. These people have been 9 feet tall, 8 to 9 feet tall.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
They're obviously not the full giant. Yeah. And then a little bit more in historical terms, giants have been depicted throughout all of time. There's in the Bible, there's hieroglyphs, Muslim texts, Indian carvings. There's been even findings of fingerprints. And then there's also footprints that are in sizes of giants throughout the world. So, what are your thoughts on the possibility of at one point in our existence, giants being real and then potentially helping build the pyramids?
All right. So when we say giants, if we're talking about people 15, 16 feet tall, like it seems like that's where we're kind of capping off, giants. You're about 15 feet tall. I'm going to, if you're saying how do I rationalize making this real? We know there have been different types of humans. There have been Homo sapiens. There have been Neanderthals. There have been different types of humans. So would I believe there was a human much bigger than us that didn't probably live as long as we did, weren't as smart as us, but there was a human that was bigger than us? Yes, I could be talked into believing that. Okay. The pyramid thing is one that I think the pyramids are kind of like everybody's most interesting thing. Because given how old they are and the weight of the stones, everybody is like, there's no way they carried it. There's no way, So the pyramids are always going to be interesting. When I was like 15, I thought aliens did it, and I grew out of that. So do I believe this one? I'm probably not with giants. I'm closer to giants, I guess. I'd be with aliens more than giants. But I'm not fully against this one. I guess I like it.
So as I was doing my research and going through this, I was like, okay, giants, what's really considered a giant? And then, like, I found, 3 to 4 meters tall. So, I just look at a house and I'm like, a person being, tall or taller than a house. You know what I mean? It's a lot. But the pyramids are such a grandiose, just structure that it feels like something crazy had to take place for it all to actually come together so perfectly. And I just think giants are cool. Like, the term Nephilim, like, as the race of giants is really cool to me.
Half person, half angel.
Exactly. That's what the giants descended from, throughout the Bible, the hieroglyphs, all that kind of stuff where they're depicted. I would probably give this, it never happened, but I thought it was interesting enough to bring to the table. That giant. What?
About a 6.5, I give it.
Yeah.
The thing I like that you said is, like, you said there's been depictions of giants everywhere. And I do love that. But we also know, like, I'm pretty sure people are, like, getting bigger, like, as far as taller. Can you imagine, like, if the average height in the world was, around 5'4", 5'5", and somebody like the Big Show was born? Like, I
Yeah,
think he
yeah.
would be considered, like, they probably would say, like, oh, you're actually a giant.
I mean, to be fair, like, to an average person, that person's a giant. Like, the Big Show's a giant.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Andre the Giant was a giant. Like,
yeah.
Yao Ming was a giant. Like, these guys are still giants. But, yeah, to a person, we know that everybody's gotten taller throughout time. Mm-hmm. But if there was a race of these people that are, like, 7 or 8 foot tall, that would be more interesting to me.
That would.
So, didn't hate it. Thought it was interesting. Mm-hmm. So, you didn't hate that one.
No.
And then I like the fact that they're depicted. I think that helps a little bit. Is like mm-hmm. we've seen drawings throughout time of larger beings. So I think we're going to both think that one's a solid theory. Yeah, this next one could make you potentially leave the show. I didn't get into it in terms of where it could have gone. Okay, so this one might make you leave. It might not. I tried to keep it out of like where it gets super political because obviously one side's talking a lot of shit about the other. And this is kind of topical to today in Israel.
Oh my God.
So I was doing some research and I found on Wikipedia, Israel using animals as spies and to attack people. So let me get into this one for you because I knew you were going to enjoy it. Using animals to attack civilians or to conduct espionage. These conspiracies are reported as evidence of Zionists, and that's obviously, nationalism, a movement to establish the homeland for Jews in the Palestine. So, here are the examples to support what they've been doing. In 2010, there were 5 shark attacks in a matter of 4 days at the same exact resort. And if one person died in the attacks. And the way that shark analysts put this, it was unprecedented types of attacks that were taking place at this resort in Egypt. Number 2, the Hezbollah claims of capturing spying eagles throughout their camps and flying over their camps. Mm-hmm. Number 3, in 2011, they captured one eagle with a satellite tracking device attached to its body. Other animals that were cited in these espionage acts are pigs, hyenas, rats, and dolphins. At one point, dolphins were found with cameras attached to their fins. So, Kadeem, I picked this one because I knew it would make you very, very upset or very, very happy. So, how likely do you think it is that Israel has been using animals to spy
I just don't,
on other people?
I don't know how you rationalize that. Like, I want you to imagine. You said there was 5 people attacked by the shark within 4 days.
2 sharks.
I want you to imagine if the last 3 days, 3 people had been attacked by sharks. And then I'm like, hey, let's get in the water.
All at the same resort.
Right. And then I'm like, hey, let's get in the water. Then we get fucked up and somebody's like, this might be a secret agent.
That's literally how Jaws starts.
I would love to think that, like, okay, if we're being serious here, we know that there have been animals used in military action before. Like, people use, birds to carry messages and things like that. So, we know on a basic level, there is some way to somewhat train animals, or at least certain types of animals, for intelligent action. But, like, if you tie a camera to a dolphin, Here's the thing. It would make more sense if they tied like a tracker to it and had it swim through something so they knew there wasn't mines there or some shit.
Yeah.
But if you just tie a camera to a dolphin and it just swims off, I don't see a lot of logic there. Help me out with this one.
Here's the thing. I wanted to pick one that I thought was in the realm of possibility, and I wanted to pick one that was just off the wall. So this was my off the wall one. Okay. We do know that animals have been used in battle and things like that. Dogs, birds, all that kind of stuff.
Horses, all type of stuff, yeah.
So I don't think it's very likely. Pigs and rodents too.
Like here's the thing. If you said that they were just infecting rats with diseases and just sending them through, I'd probably 100% believe that.
Yeah. I mean, that's very possible.
But what do you do with who doesn't notice a pig?
Hey, I'm just letting you know that people believe this was happening in the early 2010 to 2010.
Shame on them.
Obviously, that one's a little more far-fetched.
Yeah.
This one, I think you'll be intrigued about.
Okay, lay it on.
Number 3 this week for my conspiracies. Earth has been sucked into a black hole.
Ooh, I do like this.
Okay, so just to give a little background on this one. In 2012, at CERN, which is the European Organization for Nuclear Research, where we use the Large Hadron Collider to create elements and things like that, particles, we discovered the Higgs boson, aka the God particle.
Mm-hmm.
These theories about CERN and all their activities have been really becoming more popular ever since we discovered the particle. So this one is becoming more prominent as it goes along. The idea is when we created the Higgs boson, it inadvertently created a black hole that swallowed the Earth. The supporters of this theory believe the world ended in 2012, but because of the time shift and the time difference when you're into a black hole, we had not realized it yet. So, to further this theory, Ohio State physicist Samar Mathur suggests that we might not even notice that we're in a black hole because it doesn't turn us into spaghetti like we've been told throughout movies, TV, all that kind of stuff. And that potentially when material touches a black hole, it would turn into a near perfect hologram of what it touches. So, Kadeem, hologram's not the way you're thinking about it.
Yeah, it can't be.
Hologram is also defined. Let me pull up my definition because I wanted to.
It can't be.
So, holography means a hologram is a photographic recording of a light field rather than an image formed by lens. So it uses a three-dimensional image reproduced from a pattern of interference produced by a split coherent beam of radiation. So it's not what you're thinking about, like the hologram of Tupac doing a concert. It's not what you're thinking about in that way.
What I was thinking about. I was thinking because okay, so that was split, and you're right. This one was gonna be my favorite because I'm really a space nerd. As far as how practical it is that it would have been created there, but then grew to swallow the Earth without destroying the Earth. Like I'm gonna get past that. I'm gonna just think of Earth being in a black hole like that. Because it is supposed to be that the closer you get to the event horizon, the slower time moves.
Exactly.
So we could be there, and for us, it's just like kind of we're going to live out the rest of our lives as we would have, because time is for everyone else is just moving, or time for us is moving so much slower than for everyone else. I actually want to believe this one because it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
There's small stuff like you would think there's just be some gravitational effects screwing with the world. Like
that's true.
But I want to believe this because this is a really fun theory.
I watched a small video on it that talked about the way different sizes of black holes and things happen. but I didn't want to get extremely technical for this. So I left some of that out. But yeah, the idea that the Earth would be more enveloped and then, destroyed is kind of how you have to go into it. Like it just becomes part of it.
Because I guess, like if you're saying the moon's in it too, so our relationship to the moon really never changed. But like, okay, so this is one of those ones that the first 20 seconds, you're like, I kind of like that. And as you start to think of it, you start poking all these holes in it.
Of course.
Because, obviously our relationship to the sun and the other planets hasn't changed. So how
but what if we're in a big enough black hole, we might not see a change.
That's a fucking massive black hole.
Yeah, but we don't know how. I mean, what we've seen one.
We don't know how.
The first black hole was photographed this year, M87. So it's not like it's something we know.
No, I'm just saying that's just to think that it's the size of our solar system. Pretty much, it's impressive. I want to believe this because I really don't know why I want to. I like it.
It's just science. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I have no issue with it. I have a question for you. What are you more likely to believe? That we're in a black hole or that the Earth is flat?
Black hole.
Earth is flat or the Earth is hollow?
We know it's neither, so I guess hollow.
Okay, I guess. Have you ever seen that movie Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yeah, unfortunately.
For those of you who haven't, it's a movie where Will Ferrell's like a scientist, and he believes that at the center of the Earth isn't, a molten liquid metal core. It's actually like another world down there, and there's still like dinosaurs there and all type of shit. Like, what do you like more, that theory or the black hole?
The black hole, because because the movie was so bad. It was so fucking bad. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It's not great, but I kind of liked it. I saw it when I was like 12, though. So
I would much rather that black hole thing be happening and time's just moving at a rate that we don't know we're there.
The fun thing about the black hole is that it can be true and it changes absolutely nothing about our day to day. Like we can't. That doesn't help us study black holes. It doesn't help us. It really doesn't change anything.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like if there's just an invisible monster in the sky, our day still goes along the same way.
It doesn't hurt anybody to have this, theory. Because you talked about the journey to the center of the Earth. Did you ever see the movie The Core, where we drill into the core, where we drill into the core and we release a bunch of nukes to restart the core?
Yeah, it stops spinning. Yeah.
Yeah. It made me think of that when you were talking about The Core.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun movie.
I know the end has one of those, like, oh no, somebody has to stay on the ship because it has to be like 10% bigger or something like that. I saw that movie a long time ago.
Well, they had to start dropping off the compartments to like spread them out. Mm-hmm. So it's been a while, but yeah, it's something like that. Also, shout out to DJ Qualls, underrated actor.
Okay.
He's in that movie, so it just made me think of him. But yeah, so Kadeem, those are my 3 theories for today.
Okay.
Obviously, you like the last one the most.
Yeah, I like the last one the most. The first one, Giants, these are things that are fun to talk. Other than I'm not going to talk about the animals one. But the first and third ones are fun to talk about, like, at a party when everybody's drinking, like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And maybe it's just me who would talk about that as a party, but like imagine somebody just starts talking about like Pangea or something. You're like, okay, I'll join in on this conversation. I don't know where it's leading, but I'll talk about it.
Are you saying that Pangea is a theory?
Oh no, I fuck with Pangea. I'm just saying, there's
big Pangea guy.
There's just certain things you hear that you're like, okay, I'll dabble in this. These are fun and they don't hurt anybody to believe, I guess.
Right. That's the main thing. It doesn't hurt people.
Yeah.
All right, Kadeem. Well, we've come to the end of the show this week.
Okay.
are you coming back with us next week for 3 more conspiracy theories?
Yes, I already have one of them.
Okay.
May have given a little bit of a hint about it when I just said Pangea.
Good to know.
So I already have one of them. I'm trying to choose between a couple. I want some that will be fun to talk about, but won't get us canceled, like your second one might. So, but no, I can't. These are fun. It really the most fun thing about this is going through and finding the ones you want to talk about, and just being like, man, some people are crazy as hell.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm looking forward to next week with you in control. Guys, remember, hit us up on Twitter, on TikTok. We're at Off Topic. Hit us up. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube. All the links will be in the show notes here. And then if you have a theory you want us to talk about and you want us to discuss, kgds3523@gmail.com. Send us an email. We would love to hear from you. We're going to slowly build this thing up. I think we're on a good path. We've had 2 good weeks of conspiracies, and we look forward to Kadeem leading us down the path next week. Sounds like we could be talking Pangea. Kadeem, you got anything before we get out of here?
Yeah. So last week I brought up the theory of a cult of billionaires and political figures who use the blood of children to stay young. Mm-hmm. Right. And I chat all over it saying I didn't believe it. Funny enough, I was watching something on Castlevania, and one of the characters in the new season is based off a Hungarian noblewoman named Elizabeth Bathory. Mm-hmm. And she's considered a serial killer. And it's believed that her and her 4 servants tortured and killed hundreds of young women because she believed that bathing in the blood of virgins would keep her young. So, like, I shat all over it, like, who could believe this? But I guess people have been saying this since the 1500s. That this type of stuff happened. So that's insane, but I just thought that was a nice callback to.
That's an excellent connection. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that brings a little more credence to your celebrity vampires and things like that. That it started way back in the 1500s. That's pretty cool. I mean, not cool for everybody who died, but
yeah, we got it.
when you brought up bathed in blood, I thought of. Did you ever see Queen of the Damned?
Queen of the Damned, yeah,
where she comes out of the blood.
Yes, super cool.
Very cool.
Super cool to that fiction.
All right, so guys, that is off topic. Conspiracies unlocked, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you.
All right, take care.